Hello. Wanted to check in, record some thoughts of how things are going. No idea how well the audio will come through. Literally talking through a mask, kind of a pop filter in a way, if you know what I'm saying. But walking home from school today. Today is Thursday. This is my first. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. It is still my first full week of teaching. Last week, I was lesson planning the whole week, didn't have any students. This week, I had on Monday, I did have classes. So I've got two schools that I go to. I go to a school on Monday, and I teach a third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade class. It is a smaller school. They just have one grade or one class per grade. And then on Tuesday through Friday, I teach at my main school, which I'm coming from today. That's the school that this is my first full week of teaching. However, on Monday we had a bit of a crazy thing happen. I went in to school on Monday, ready to start the first full week of teaching. Got some loud cars coming through, literally on the side of the road here. Went in on Monday, ready to start my first full week, and then apparently there have been some COVID cases over the weekend. And so at like 9 o'clock or something, 8:30 to 9, in between there, they canceled school. So all the students were already there, all the teachers were there, ready to go, and it was kind of chaos. The teachers were all running around. They weren't sure what was going on. They looked visibly distressed because, they literally had all the students in school, and then they canceled school for the whole region for COVID. So then two of my classes got canceled that day, but I still taught two classes online. The first one, so then we've gone into Zoom, online Zoom classes this whole week. So I haven't really taught an actual class. Those classes I did on Monday last week, the 4 classes that I taught so far that were in person, were all introductions. So I just did an intro the whole time, like about me PowerPoint, had students ask questions, so no content. This was gonna be the first week with actual content, and it's been all online. The first couple classes were kind of funny. So I had a 5th grade class. That class seemed to go okay. You can tell that the students don't really like being online that much. My 4th grade class was basically a train wreck. I'm like converting these lessons to online because I had, when I planned them, we were going to be in person. So I converted them online, gave it still that same day. And I was like, you know what? There's these book materials. They're like not the best videos. And I was like, okay, I can just use those. I'll lean heavily on those and take out some of the material that I was planning to do that you need to kind of be more in person for. Certain games, little activities like that. So I get in the class and I load it up, and the connection is terrible. The video is barely playing. I let it pause in the background, so I just shift, so okay, we can jump right into the PowerPoint instead, let that load. It gets a little bit further, but definitely not very far. So my solution was I would play it, and whenever it started buffering and freezing, I just restarted it from the beginning, and we kept running through that video. So we watched the same song 7 or 8 times, I would say. And thankfully by the end of it, we were able to watch the whole thing. So that worked out okay. Let's see, some other things. The rest of this has been going pretty good though. You can definitely tell the students don't like being online. It's not nearly as fun. It's really boring. I'm teaching 3rd grade online. Like, what 3rd grader just wants to sit in front and listen to somebody present this language or anything all day? Certain classes, they're really nice, they help out. So I don't know. I think it's going about as good as it can go. My whole thing with online, which I think is what teachers did last year anyway, is just like if they can just even remember a fraction, if they can remember anything, then we're doing a good job. Because it's I don't know, just not a great experience for learning. And think about it this way: there's different classroom techniques that they taught us. One of them is teacher presents while students all in a row listen. There's a ton of other ones. There's also ones where students work individually on things, and that's great for their own learning. Teacher goes around and checks with each student to make sure they're doing well. So that's a great way to check in on every student individually. You can handle problems. There's obviously group work. That's a great one for students to help each other out. And teachers can float, make sure that they're doing well. Still a great way to do it. So I don't know. I'm sure there's other, technical forms, but just saying, when you're on Zoom, unless I'm like managing breakout rooms and things like that, those just aren't really possibilities. Also, so the way that I teach, right? So each class has their homeroom that they're in, and I come into it. So, for example, especially when we're online, I go and sit down at the teacher's computer, that's their homeroom teacher, and give the lesson. That's typically fine. However, for me, their Zoom is going to be in Korean. And so to manage things like breakout rooms, or even just like mic control, muting and unmuting, it's Korean. So right away, I don't really know it. And obviously that's kind of on me in a way, in some sense. I mean, I could learn it. I know that but nobody expects me to learn it. I'm just saying that's what makes breakout rooms and things like that a little bit more challenging. When you're using Korean Zoom on a computer that's not mine, so I can't like set it up before the kids join. I have to, every time I'm having to, sit at a computer, log into my like PowerPoint stuff, log into my Google Drive, to make it happen. And it's been okay. I will say, one of the things that's been kind of tougher, I talked to Isabel about this, giving presentations, when you're standing up in front of a class with the students there, their energy you kind of feed off of it. It's literally like you're giving a presentation or you're performing. And it's hype. The crowd loves it, you love it. It's awesome. So on Zoom, a lot of times students are muted. A lot of times they're bored out of their mind. So they're not having fun. And that makes it to where teaching in person, the one day I did it, was exhausting, but it was exciting. And the day went by really quickly. On today, or this week, it's been definitely exhausting, but not nearly as exciting. And I know if I'm feeling that, the students are feeling that even more. Hello! Cross the street real quick. So, people have been excited to see us. That's been really fun. Like the couple of students right there. I've tried to say hello to like any school age kids in English to get them to like kind of practice it a little bit, real world. But most everybody else obviously speaks Korean. There have been a couple of cool stories where two instances so far where we've gone to restaurants and someone there has like spoke English or lived abroad and things like that. The first one, we went to a Korean barbecue place close to our house, and that man not even got a helmet on. Sheesh. Went to a Korean barbecue place close to the house, and a guy there came up to us and was like, "Oh, you speak English?" and he was really excited to talk to us. It turns out he's a friend of the owner, and the owner wasn't there, but he's a friend of his, and the owner's son works at the restaurant, and so sometimes the owner will ask his buddy to go pick his son up from work. His son was there. He's like high school age or whatnot. So we start chatting and everything. So then I guess, you got the friend and you have the son. So the friend's there and he's talking. He speaks pretty good English, especially considering the area. And he's excited to see us, and we learned he went and studied abroad studied in college in Canada. And just really enjoyed it. So he was super excited to practice his English, because people don't really speak it as much in this region. So very excited to see us and just talk with us. We were talking, and his friend's son, the son was in high school. So I was like, oh, well, he probably has an English class kind of like mine. He probably speaks English. And he said, oh, a little, but he's kind of he just mostly plays his games. And I was like, oh, what games do you play? And I was like, do you play League of Legends? And the kid was like, yeah, I play LOL, which everyone just calls it LOL here. So he plays League. And I don't know if cars drive over this. Oh, that answer has just been found out. Cars definitely drive over this. So I'll just stick to the side. But yeah, so the kid plays League, and I've been kind of joking, but also serious, that my master plan has been come over here, don't really speak the language, but know how to play League of Legends, and find people that like to play it, and then just play it with them, and we can kind of speak the same language through what we play. We can play in the same language even though we don't speak the same language, which I feel like is a lot of fun. So we were talking to him, and we were asking him, like, what's his favorite characters to play, what is his favorite things to do in the game, which was a ton of fun. I liked it. And then the other guy, the friend, was like, I don't know what he's saying, but you guys do. And we were cracking up. So we ended up sitting down to eat, and they just kind of sit next to us and keep talking to us, which was like kind of a welcome thing. It was fun for us too. So that was super cool. When we were leaving, the guy asked, like, oh, his son wants to know, like, what's your username in game, like, to be able to add you. And so I sent it over to him, added him up on my Korean League of Legends account, which is really cool. So the other day when we got online, maybe we can play with him at some point. So that's fun. That's been neat to get to experience. So, and it really is cool, because I've played some games on there. Like I said, I don't speak the language, but like we can work well as a team. Things can go okay. I can kind of read it, and so I'll try to pick up, like, if they're talking about a certain character, I can know what they're saying, which is cool. Sometimes if it feels really important, I put it in Google Translate, but most of the time you can just kind of go off of in-game knowledge. I don't need to really know what they're saying to know what they want to do. The other time that this was just last night, we went out and got I don't know if I would say it's Korean barbecue. It's kind of like a galbi kimchi. So like kimchi is like a cabbage, kind of pickled cabbage. I don't know if it was pickled, it was kind of more seasoned. And then galbi's like the meat. I think it was galbi at least. But so we got that, and it was similar to Korean barbecue. They had a stove in the middle, but it wasn't like we were cooking strips of meat. They just had this big pot of all this seasoned of the kimchi, and there was rice cakes and the galbi, and it was all mixed in this giant pan. And then the thing was there not to cook it, I don't think, but actually just to keep it warm, because it already looked fully cooked when you cut into it. So that was really neat. It's a neat idea too, to keep your dish warm while on the table, because if it cools down, it's not nearly as appetizing. So I like that. I thought that was smart. And when we walked in, what felt like the owner, I think he was the owner of the restaurant, was talking to us and helping us out with certain things. And he was super friendly. and he spoke pretty good English, honestly. Like, we could understand, we could have a, understand sentences, have a conversation. And so we order food, and he's helping other people out, and then he comes back to our table a little bit and he asks, like, so where are you from? And we say, oh, Miguk, which is America, in Korean. And I said, do you know where Georgia is? Just on an off chance. And he said, I know Georgia. So he lived in Augusta, Georgia, like 25 years ago, because his aunt or somebody lives in Augusta, Georgia, which is super cool. So he lived there. And so he was super excited to get to meet people from Georgia that spoke English that he could practice that with. So whenever he got a chance, he would float over to our table, ask us questions, ask how we were enjoying our meal, which is really nice. So those moments have been above and beyond. Not expecting that from anybody, but excited to get to kind of be somebody, or I don't know, have that level of hospitality and welcoming into definitely a foreign place. I'm walking along this pretty river walk that's pretty close to our house. This isn't really the route to go home from school. I'm actually going somewhere in particular, so I'm not going to give it away. But the area is really pretty. You probably can't see the mountains in the background, but they're over there. It definitely looks really nice. Having this river walk's really sweet. To be able to just have a place. Oh, there's a heron over there, just chilling on the rock. But having this river walk's just a cool way to be able to get out, feel a little bit more in nature, or walk around something that doesn't feel like an urban city. So we're across the way from that. Really tall residential housing. It's really popular here. Feels like sometimes, kind of like right there, you'll just be seeing flat land, and then you'll just see giant housing. So, they don't have a lot of space in Korea. So instead of building out, just build up. So if you think, a lot of people are going to want to get an apartment here, just stack them up, build it all at one time, and make it super efficient, and then you can house everybody. So I don't know, maybe that's the philosophy. It seemed like it'd work out to me. Let's see. So we were talking with, there's another married couple that lives close by. They're in like the main town. So we're in kind of more of the countryside of Gwangyong. They're in the main Gwangyong. And we were talking to them, and his name's Ian. He was there, and he was saying that he imagines that at some point, we've kind of been out of quarantine. I think this is our second week, because we got here Thursday and we had a full week, and this marks 2 weeks out of quarantine. At least I think we got here on a Thursday. So he was saying that, after a little bit, it's probably going to hit us a little differently, which is right. I think when you travel to a new place and you're in a new surrounding, you probably enter like a little bit of like not a fight or flight, but like a survival mode, as you're ready to, what? Hello. That's really fun. But you enter like an adapt mode, a survivability. Well, no, you enter a survival mode, not in adapt mode yet. And so your first instinct is to survive and just kind of take things as they come for a short period of time. That way, when you can go back to your normal, you're okay, because now you're abnormal, and so you're not really like accepting the differences yet. You're just surviving through them, and which is, I think there's some actual research behind some of that too. But in about a month or two of being here, it'll probably start to hit us a little different as we're no longer in survival mode, but we're in adapt mode, and we start to adapt things as our new normal, and that will bring its own challenges. It'll probably be kind of hard. But kind of excited for that. I'm not sure. I would say yesterday it was a little, I don't know. Yesterday I think was one of the first days where things started to hit maybe a little bit different, about just like settling into new routines, learning what those look like. Figuring out exactly. So I was talking with Isabel about this. Like, I know why we're doing this, to experience a new culture, and just things come out from that kind of organically when you're in a new place. You grow, you learn, you change, like things like that just come. So I know why we're doing it. But exactly like what are we going to be doing over here? Obviously we're teaching, but like, how do we want to go about this whole thing? What are the things, what are going to be our daily routines? What are the things that we're going to be doing like day to day? And like, why do we do those? I think it's different because we know why we do. We know the big picture why, but what about the daily whys? So those will be interesting to figure out. Also, Isabel and I have never been on the same schedule of stuff. Like, she's always, well, not always, but as a nurse, whether you're day shift or night shift, you're 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is your work schedule. So it's not exactly normal hours. And mine have usually been closer to like a 9 to 5 with school, work, all that stuff. So now we're both on like this 9 to 5 schedule. And that'll be interesting, like starting to figure out, what's going on. Even like these last couple of days, like I'll get home and Isabel's ready to go. She's like, oh, let's go on a walk. Let's go somewhere. Let's go do something. And a lot of times after work, I'm like, oh, I'm excited to get home so I can sit down and chill for a second. I'm not always ready to go. And sometimes on weekends, I just like to hang, want to chill, want to sit. And she was talking about, oh, are they closed? Doesn't look like it's supposed to be closed, but it looks closed, doesn't it? So we can read that. 목요일. I guess it's probably closed. I would imagine that I wouldn't have to walk through all this. I think we can. But we just learned something. That was Papago that I used, and learned that whether it's Thursday or not didn't really make sense to me. Hello. But there's a cafe up there that I wanted to take you to check out. This is one I found it yesterday. And apparently it's closed today, so I'm just gonna walk home. Closed on Thursdays, which is what I learned, which is cool. That app's been really cool. The students and people in Korea use it all the time to translate English to Korean. It's called Papago, and you can take picture and translate Korean over to English, which is really great. I don't want it to become a crutch, because I feel like sometimes technology can be so good you don't need to like actually learn the language if you're just constantly letting it translate for you. So we still try to read like menus and things like that, but anything official where it looks like we might need to follow some instructions or something like that, I feel like it's usually best to like just let it do its thing. Okay, well, so I don't get to show you the surprise for the top of the cafe. I'll wait for that in a later one. But oh look, there's the little steel thing is for the cafe. So maybe I didn't even have to walk as far back as I thought I did to get up that way. And learn that it's closed every Thursday. All right, well, I'll close it out. I'll let you see the pretty mountains in the background of Gwangju. Turn the nice. And yeah, so oh, the brightness. What are you doing? Cool. I really killed it. So I'll let that be it for this time. That's about all the updates I want to give on the recent stuff. Definitely going to be giving some more. So keep peeping. Appreciate you. Always ask me any questions if you want. I can let you know. If you want me to film certain things, put certain things out. It's been good. I've been trying to take pictures of the food we've been eating. I hate feeling like, I mean, I'm sitting here walking down the road taking a video or whatever. Like, I just don't like feeling like that tourist that's like taking pictures of all their food, walking down the road taking videos. Feels kind of dumb, but I think it's such a cool way to show off the area. So I don't even know anymore. Okay, well, appreciate you.